So it is officially the last day of the 2024 AFL trade period, and I've been working overtime like a madman to try and get these videos out for you guys right now. And again, there's just been so much that has been going on that I have so much stuff literally in my head. It's kind of crazy, and I just need to unleash it all on you guys right now real quick. Again, in today's video, the goal is to basically start off by talking about all the trades and news and confirmed reports that just happened in this second last day of the trade period, and then go and get into some more rumors of some potential trades that could happen in the next couple hours that you guys are going to be watching this video. Again, the rumors and all that type of stuff will be in the second half of the video. So if you guys are watching the second half of this video and you see me talking about a rumor and it has potentially already happened, like for example, there's one here that's talking about Matthew Kennedy going to the Dogs. If for some reason that trade has already happened by the time of this video coming out, please don't go in the comment section down below and threaten my whole entire family tree. It's just, again, I'm recording this video the day before, so there's a lot to definitely still unpack. It's just, the thing is, again, there are a lot of these rumored trades that could very well happen on the last minute of the trade period. We'll definitely have to wait and see how this, of course, all goes. Again, before we get into it all, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell. And I guess we'll get into my thoughts and opinions on the official completed trades that we've just got. Again, there was a massive mega deal here that was between Collingwood, Gold Coast and Port Adelaide that does have Collingwood getting Dan Houston and pick 58, Gold Coast getting John Noble, a 2025 first round pick from Port Adelaide, a 2025 first round pick from Collingwood, and pick 39, while Port Adelaide received Jack Lukosius, Joe Richards, Rory Atkins, pick 13, 29, 36, and 50. Again, I think it's pretty obvious, in my opinion, who lost this trade. I feel like there were two winners and one loser. And again, when you've got Port Adelaide's the biggest fan who literally gets butthurt and cries on radio when anyone disses his team, shout out Kane Corns, I still love you deep down inside, saying that he thinks this trade is bad, you know this trade was bad for Port Adelaide. Again, unfortunately, as I've mentioned on the channel, I'm not the biggest Jack Lukosius fan. I think he's extremely weak. I think he lacks fight in the contest. It's the major reason Dimmer dropped him. I think it's the major reason Marbia Chol requested a trade and got out of there before Dimmer got in, because, again, he was a very weak player last season who lacked the contest. He got a bit better with Hawthorn this year. Jack Lukosius needs to do that at Port. I think Joe Richards is actually a really good pickup and a very good player. And Rory Atkins, again, God knows why Port Adelaide decided to try and cook and bring in Rory Atkins. If it wasn't for his terrible contract that he's, still got, he would have been delisted. And then pick 13, 29, 36, and 50. It's a lot, but for a team who were really wanting two good first-round picks for Dan Houston, you get a middle-tier first-round pick in 13, and you don't get a second one, and then you have to give up your first-round pick next year. It's a little bit scary for me. As far as Collingwood and Gold Coast, I think Gold Coast are the major winners out of this deal. Getting John Noble in to help, obviously, Daniel Rioli and a couple of the other players that they're getting here and there, as well as the draftees in Leo Lombard, is phenomenal and fantastic. They also get rid of Rory Atkins' contract, which was apparently not friendly. Lukosius' contract, apparently he was on $1 million a season. They get rid of both of those guys who are not going to be in Dimmer's best 23, let's be real here. And they bring in 2 first-round picks next year and John Noble, a really good role player. Plus, they still bring in semi-points in 39 to help with their academy and whatnot. I mean, yeah, Gold Coast did phenomenal here. Collingwood as well, it is a risky one for them. I know some fans are divided because they're not going to have first-round picks for last year, this year, and next year, most likely. So that does hurt, but again, you bring in a 2-time All-Australian, arguably the best halfback in the league. So at the end of the day, it's probably going to be a good trade, and they should be contending for the top 4 next year. We also have the next trade, which is the more controversial one going around on the internet at the moment. Carlton getting pick 3, 63 and 68. Richmond getting 14. And West Coast getting Liam Baker, Matt Owies, 12 and 73. Again, obviously, Carlton did phenomenal here, getting pick 3 in. The reason I believe Carlton did this, and I think the reason a lot of people think that Carlton decided to go out and cook with this, was genuinely just because they heard that Richmond are apparently going to be taking Sam Lawler with the first overall pick. Again, I've got a video coming out about this on the channel very, very soon, so stay tuned for that. But he looks like the favourite for pick 1 now. Apparently, North Melbourne really loves Sam Lawler at pick 2 as well, and even they, I think, have realised he is at 1. So Carlton had heard this, and they're like, damn, Finn O'Sullivan's probably going to drop the pick 3. We can get arguably the best player in the draft at pick 3. We have to go and do this. And they decide to make the bold move to trade 12 and 14 to bring what could be a future AFL star into their team. So they did phenomenal here. Again, Liam Baker for pick 14. Would pick 14 in most drafts be better than Liam Baker? No. But in this year's draft, it's supposed to be one of the most stacked drafts in AFL history. Some reporters going as far as calling it the most stacked draft in AFL history. You're doing this every day of the week if you're Richmond. So, again, as a Tigers fan myself, I'm pretty happy with this. And I know West Coast are getting a lot of hate online, and a lot of people saying this is a terrible trade for them. I don't know if I actually agree. I think, yeah, they're probably the losers out of this. But, again, I'm hoping I can be the voice of persuasion here for any West Coast fan who are thinking this is the worst trade in the world. I don't think it is. Liam Baker is an incredible player who I think will return to halfback for them next season. When he was playing at halfback for Richmond, he had near all Australian type games. It's just that the only good thing about the Tigers were their halfbacks, so he had to move up the ground. Again, he's still a really solid midfielder, still a really solid forward. I think he should be played as a halfback at West Coast. They may play him in the midfield though. You bring in Matt Owies, who again has had the knock on him that he can sometimes be lazy and go out of games. But he was still like one of Carlton's leading goal kickers this year. He can find a goal and would be one of the best goal kicking small forwards in the game. So realistically, if you do have Liam Baker as a small forward at times and Matt Owies as your other small forward, that would take you to being having one of the best small forward cores in the whole entire league straight away. And then again, pick 12. I'm sure West Coast have a player in mind at pick 12. Again, this is supposed to be one of the most stacked drafts. I'm assuming they've got a guy there, potentially homegrown talent, that they're really willing to go to. And we got to remember, they're still going to try and get other picks in this draft. So I don't think it's all a loss that they lost pick 3. At the end of the day, you potentially lose Finn O'Sullivan for Liam Baker, Matt Owies, and potentially a Luke Traynor, right? Probably not him. They maybe don't need another key back, but you guys get what I mean, right? I don't think it's the worst trade in the world. They're probably the losers still, but that's just because the other two teams did so well. Yeah, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world at all. Again, another one we got was Harry Sharp being traded along with the future third round pick from Brisbane, where Brisbane actually received 49 and Essendon's 2025 third round pick. Again, I don't really know too much about this trade. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't really care. I don't know. I was actually eating some KFC with my best mate today, who is a massive Melbourne fan, and again, he was telling me that he thinks they're just bringing in VFL players at this point. Shane McAdam, he wasn't a fan of. Harry Sharp, he's not that big of a fan of. So again, my best mate saying it's not a good trade as a massive Melbourne fan is probably a good indication that I should say it may not be that good. But again, I'll be honest here. I don't really know much about Harry Sharp. I know he played some games, and I guess he can't get a game in the best team in the league. Yeah, so he's looking for more opportunity. Melbourne are a team he's going to have that opportunity at. So it honestly makes a lot of sense. So those were the 3 major trades from the second last day. Definitely a lot going on there. But in terms of the rest now, there's a ton of news to still go over about potential moves that could happen now today, but also in the next couple. And what I mean by the next couple is we could have a free agent here that is going to be in one of the more weird situations in Tim Membry, because there are some rumours and reports saying that he hasn't even been offered a contract at St Kilda because they have a bunch of young key forwards that they actually want to move up and play AFL footy, and they believe Tim Membry is taking a spot. We've heard Melbourne be interested. We've heard a bunch of different teams. The one now that by the time making this video could have possibly either signed him or in the next couple of days does happen to be Collingwood, with it being reported that Collingwood has emerged as a major possible destination for Tim Membry. The Saints forward has gathered some interest from the Pies. He doesn't have a deal for next year from St Kilda. Again, is this a situation where Collingwood could let this guy walk to delisted free agency? I know it seems so weird to think that Tim Membry could be a delisted free agent, or are they going to sign him at the time making this video? I don't know. Whatever they do, I feel like there's a major chance Tim Membry is going to be at the Pies. And I think it's personally a good move. I like this move by Collingwood if they really want Tim Membry, because they need forwards. And the reality is that how Craig McRae has played and how his game plan and coaching style has really developed, he likes to have a forward that can not only lead, but definitely crash the pack for those smalls around them to go and work their magic. Again, we know Dan McStay would have some games for Collingwood in their premiership year where he wouldn't kick a goal, he wouldn't touch it that much, but the goal and idea was for him just to bring the ball to the ground, where they would have players like Jack Ginnivan really go to work alongside Jamie Elliott and just score. We saw Lachie Schultz really struggle with the Pies until Dan McStay came back from his injury, and he had a player that was actually able to bring the ball down to him on the ground, and he was able to then go and kick a lot more goals and look a lot more efficient and a better pickup for Collingwood. I think Tim Membry is going to be a very similar situation where they have had injuries now to Dan McStay, and they've realised how costly it could be. They may be looking for a depth guy here who might play every now and then, but to try and work his way into that 23 and just provide a role to help these small forwards out at Collingwood and make sure Lachie Schultz does not have another bad year. That seems to be the way that Collingwood are going. And I think if the end of Tim Membry is a Pie next season, that's an amazing deal for them. One I don't think is too amazing, which was just reported, is the Western Bulldogs being interested in Carlton's Matt Kennedy, being reported by Tom Morris of 9 News. I hate this. If the Dogs trade for Matt Kennedy, it's a stupid decision. I'm gonna go out there and say it's a stupid decision. Like, not that Matt Kennedy's a bad player or anything like that. I find Matt Kennedy to be actually a semi-decent footballer. But how many midfielders do you need right now at the Dogs? They have gone this whole entire free agency and trade period being really dodgy and not wanting to trade players like Jack McRae, who are most of the time now not in their 22, are really holding them their contracts and asking for major overs. Same with Bailey Smith. And you're telling me right now that they want to trade for another one? You literally had to make McRae make him the sub because you then put James Harms in the team. And you traded for James Harms last season and were barely playing him. Riley Sanders spent the whole year in the VFL getting 45 disposals like every game, and just they couldn't put him in the AFL because they had too many midfielders. Why are they going for Matthew Kennedy? Another midfielder who is probably worth a second round pick. Like, if you're Carlton and you can get a second round pick for the Dogs just being, I think, silly here, yeah, you're doing it every day of the week. Again, as I've said, Carlton should be trading Matt Kennedy because I think their midfield is too one-dimensional. I think they don't have enough speed in their midfield. There's a lot of issues with them just having too many tools in there. I think if you were to swap out Matt Kennedy for Finn O'Sullivan next season, a much more quick, agile player who would suit them way better, make their midfield a little bit less one-dimensional, you're already doing a good thing. And I think that's their plan. I think that's why they told Matt Kennedy to look around. I think if a team goes out and looks for him, St Kilda would be interesting, considering their Jack Macrae deal is being asked for so much. Whether you get Jack Macrae or not, I think going for Matt Kennedy would be smart by St Kilda. So we'll see if they go for that. But I have a feeling Matt Kennedy might be back on the Blues next season, because I don't think they're necessarily going to get a deal back in that they are truly going to be pleased with. Again, he's a good player who just doesn't really fit their team right now. He's played nearly every game, but again, they need to change something up in that midfield, and I think it might legitimately be him. Again, there's that, and then with Carlton as well, St Kilda are apparently targeting Brodie Kemp in a trade, which is being reported by Mitch Cleary. Brodie Kemp really played a different role. Not necessarily a different role, but more so a role that was a lot better for him. Like, he played a lot better footy, I think, for Carlton at times this year than he previously had. Being more of a defender now, which is almost turned into like a key defender type of role. I think what St Kilda's goal is here is to ask for Brodie Kemp and have him replace Josh Battle long term. They, of course, lost Josh Battle in free agency to Hawthorn, and now they're going to be going out and potentially looking for another guy to replace him. They've got guys in their VFL. I think that's one of the reasons they were not necessarily happy to see him go, but happy to get pick A's, because if they're going to lose anyone, they've got some key backstock coming through, some backstock in general coming through in the VFL that they can definitely work with. And if they go for Brodie Kemp, it would be a good thing. I just feel like they've kind of left it a little bit late in the trade period right now. So we'll see if that truly comes out and if he does get traded later on today, because that's definitely going to be one that really comes close to it. So I'm extremely interested to see how that, of course, goes. Again, this will be the last probably like trade rumors video, because there are no more trades, I don't think, coming after this. This is the last day. But what I will be doing is I think I will be ranking every team's AFL trade period from like A to F and seeing how we go. Again, those videos will be coming out very soon, as well as a ton more draft content. So I know a lot of you guys actually prefer my draft content, even like it as much. There's a lot more stuff coming there. As mentioned previously in this video, another one to do with Sam Lawler now being the projected pick number 1 to Richmond. I may even be making other videos just talking about why I don't think the West Coast trade is really that bad, and potentially even a video just going over every single trade that we had in today. So that will all and more hopefully be coming very, very soon. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you leave a like on this video. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below of all the latest trade news and all of that type of stuff. I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions. But as I was saying, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.